Hari Om. We will now have the lighting of the inaugural lamp. Puja Swami Nikhilananda Ji, Puja Swami Prakashananda Ji, and Mr. Ram Bihari as we chant Guru Stotram. Tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva sarvam amadevare. Hear me out. Swami Nikhilananda Swami Prakashananda Ji, Acharyas, Pandits, Dharma Sevak and devotees, good night. It gives me great happiness to welcome all of you to the Chinmaya Mission Ashram for this most wonderful event which starts tonight. We to visit Acharya from Swami Ji. He conduct resident Seva course, and starting from tonight, a 5-night Jnana Yajna Bhagavad Gita. Welcome all listeners online via the live streaming link on www.tmtt.co. Before we continue, there are a few house announcements. The main is located to the back of the hall, side exit to your right. The female washrooms are behind the Gargi Bhavan or girls' hostel, that is to the left of the hall. The male washrooms are behind the Anakshetra or kitchen, which is the building to the right of the hall. We are humbly requesting that all cell phones be turned off or placed on silent for the course of tonight's proceedings. It is my pleasure now to invite the President of Chinmaya Mission, Trinidad and Tobago, to bring greetings and share a few words on behalf of the mission. I welcome Mr. Ruplal Ram Bihari Ji.
Hari Om, Madam Chairperson, Chairperson, Swami G, Swami Nikhilananda, our visiting Acharya, Swami Prakashananda, Pandits, students of the Dharma Yoga class, and members of the Chinmaya Mission, and all our dear family members of Chinmaya Mission as well. A warm welcome to this yajna, and on behalf of the warmest greetings and hope that we will all imbibe what Swami G has to say this evening. This is not the first visit of Swami G Nikhilananda to TNT. He has been here just before this ashram was being constructed. that is somewhere in 1999. And the first ever yajna to be held on this compound was by him in that year. So indeed, we are truly blessed to have Swami G with us this evening and to do the discourse on chapter 3, which is the yoga of action. So, Swami G, we welcome you to Trinidad and Tobago. We welcome you to the Chinmaya Ashram, and most welcome, and we're very pleased to have you doing this discourse this evening. Hari Om.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rambihari. Chinmaya Mission has a very nice structure which has many arms to facilitate the young and the not so young. Each night, you will have the opportunity to hear about each arm of the mission. Gurudev always emphasized on the youth and harnessing youth potential. CHYK, C-H-Y-K, or Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, is the youth arm of the mission. To tell us more about CHYK, I would like to ask Dr. Vashish Kedan to the mic. Dr. Vashish Kedan is a very dynamic young man, always serving at the feet of the Guru, very dynamic and not only being a medical practitioner, but he always practices and encourages the best medicine, that is laughter. So I'd now like to call to the microphone Vashishti.
Swamiji always says, even though it's okay, you still adjust the mic. We've learned this extensively over the first week of Dharma Seva course. Pay close attention. Thank you, Madam Chairperson, Chris DDG. So we started with some medicine. Hari Om, Sitaram. Pranams to Puja Swami Nikhilananda Ji. Pranams to Puja Swami Prakashananda Ji, all revered brahmacharis, brahmacharinis, CIGs here visiting all the way from Brazil, Goa, India, their devotees. First, without moving a step further, I must begin. With all the love in our hearts, we as the CHYK group would like to extend a very, very special welcome to Puja Swami Nikhilananda Ji. It fascinates us to read Gurudev's words which tell the bright beginning of the day. Last Friday night, well, not Friday night, Saturday morning, 1 a.m., there was one such bright beginning of the day. Several children of the summer classes, several of the CHYKs gathered outside, eagerly awaiting a revered master, Swami Nikhilananda Ji. If ever there was a bright morning in which Swami walked into the ashram of Chinmaya Mission, Trinidad. Okay. To speak of Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, CHYK, CHYKs. CHYKs is the youth arm of the mission. It was started by Puja Gurudev in 1975 in Bangalore. In just 1 year, Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, CHYKs, 10 cities in India, Mumbai, Chennai, and 7 more. Today, through the grace of Gurudev, Puja Gurudev, and the leadership of our Puja Swami Prakashananda Ji, CHYKs is a vibrant energy in Trinidad and Tobago. Oh, I still had a few more words to that line. CHYKs is a vibrant entity here, serving, working in an array of projects. Now picture this. You know of chicks and chick titi. All of this is just but one chick group, which is one of 120 chick groups throughout the world, across 4 different continents. Such is the magnitude of Puja Gurudev's vision. Such is the faith that he placed in youth and youth potential. I didn't have that written, so I have to look for the next line. Okay, to tell a little bit more about chick titi. One easy expression is chick study and chick serve. Part of the 108 nights Mahayana Yajna, chicks seem to have been in super gear. For 100 continuous nights, chicks had the privileged opportunity to serve in Yajna coordination. From bookstall to projections to chairing the nightly programs. It was a tremendous opportunity of seva. Inspired by the greatness of Puja Gurudev and the brilliance of Puja Swami G, the Yajna spirit would blossom in the hearts of so many youngsters across 108 nights from temple to temple and place to place, using Ways directions, of course. All of this was concurrent, taking place at the same time, within which chicks, all of these youngsters, were key in the planning and execution of the very special Shiv Ganga Mahayatra project. Chick Tobago weekend retreat in May, as the very Chinmaya vibes. Chick study. I want to say that again. Chick study. Positive reaffirmation. Initiated by Swami G, carried on by several of the mission acharyas, chicks meet regularly each week for study classes covering a wide array of topics. Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, and so more. Together with this, there is a very, very good presence amongst these chicks. There's a keen interest in reading, delving into the vast array of mission books, which readily lends to a spirit of sharing ideas and discussions amongst all of us. The most recent chick-energized project is the summer classes in Hinduism, in which several youngsters, including many who were just 18 and 19, were involved in planning itineraries, coordinating day-to-day activities, even presenting simple lessons. It is evidently clear that Chinmaya Mission and the Chinmaya Mission Youth Arm, Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, is the ideal forum for any youngster to come, learn, serve, and grow. Set against a background of fun and friendship, there's always positive dynamism for you to become a purpose to society, not just for themselves, but for nation. It is with this idea in mind and the never-ending inspiration of Puja Gurudev that is our continued aim to share the opportunity awareness of chicks to as many throughout this land. In closing, I share the words of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda Ji said, "A few sincere, wholehearted, and energetic men and women can do more in a year than in a mob in a century." Hari Om.
Thank you very much for Shashti. So you all understand when I say the greatest boon given by Puja Gurudev to the younger generation is also Bala Vihar. Bala Vihar provides a spiritual and cultural orientation to the children of the modern age. Every Sunday, there are Bala Vihar classes taking place throughout the mission, where children are fortunate to learn Vedic chanting, Gita chanting, and so much more. Since our yajna focuses on Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, let us invite Bala Vihar children to chant the Gita Dhyanam and chapter 3 of the Bhagavad Gita.
विभूरितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्धदामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् नमोऽस्तुते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानप्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्ससुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। भीष्मद्रोण तथा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्मविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरनदी कैवर्तककेशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजमलं गीतार्थगन्धोततं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्भोरनाबोरितं लोके सज्जनशत्परैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुरा भूयान् भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसिन श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैरक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततर्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो शान्तविरुसुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः हरि ओम्। अथ तृतीयोऽध्यायः। अर्जुन उवाच जायसि चेत् कर्मणस्ते मता बुद्धिर्जनार्दन तत्किं कर्मणि घोरे मां नियोजसि केशव व्यामिश्रेणेव वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम्। श्रीभगवानुवाच लोकेऽस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघ ज्ञानयोगेन साङ्ख्यानां कर्मयोगेन योगिनां न कर्मणामनारम्भात् नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते न च सन्न्यसनादेव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि जातु तिष्ठत्य कर्मकृत कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म सर्वप्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः कर्मेन्द्रियाणि नियम्य यासे मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारः उच्यते। यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्यारभते अर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् असक्तः स विशिष्यते। नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्मजायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्धेत कर्मणः यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर सह यज्ञा प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वम् एष वो सृष्टकामधुक् देवान् भावयतानेन ते देवा भावयन्तु वः परस्परं भावयन्तः श्रेयः परमवाप्स्यत इष्टान् भोगान् हि वो देवाः दास्यन्ते यज्ञभाविताः तैर्दत्तान् प्रदायैभ्यः योगेन यज्ञशिष्टाशनसन्तः मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः भुञ्जते ते त्वं पापाः ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात् अन्नात् भवन्ति भूतानि पर्जन्यादन्नसम्भवः यज्ञात् भवति पर्जन्यः यज्ञकर्मसमुद्भवः कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवं तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म यज्ञे एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रं नानुवर्तयति हयः अगायुरेन्द्रिया रामः मोघं पार्थ स जीवति यस्त्वात् नरतिरेव स्यात् आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थः नाकृतेनेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थव्यपाश्रयः तस्मात् सक्तं कार्यं कर्म समाचर असक्तो ह्याचरन् कर्म परमाप्नो पुरुषः कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम् आस्थिता जनकानय लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि सम्पर्हसि यद्यदाचरति श्रेष्ठः तत्तदेवेतरो जनः स यत् प्रमाणं कुरुते लोकस्तदनुवर्तते न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किञ्चन नानवाप्तमवाप्तव्यम् एव यदि ह्यहं न वर्तेयं जातु कर्मण्यतन्द्रतः मम वर्तमानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्या पार्थ सर्वशः उत्सिदेयुरिमे लोकाः न कुर्यां धर्म चेदहं शङ्करस्य च कर्तास्याम् उपहन्यामि मा प्रजाः सक्ता कर्मण्य विद्वांसः यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत कुर्याद् विद्वांसता सक्तः चिकीर्षु लोकसङ्ग्रहं न बुद्धिभेदं जनयेत् अज्ञानां कर्मसङ्गिनां जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि विद्वान् युक्तः समाचरन् प्रकृते क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः अहङ्कारविमूढात्मा कर्ताहम् इति मन्यते तत्त्ववित्तु महाबाहो गुणकर्म विभागयोः गुणागुणेषु मत्वा न सज्जते प्रकृतिर्गुणसम्मूढाः सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु तान् कृत्स्नविदो मन्दान् कृत्स्नविन्न विचालयेत् मयि सर्वाणि कर्माणि संन्यस्याध्यात्मचेतसा निराशीर्निर्ममो भूत्वा युध्यस्व विगतज्वरः ये मे मतमिदं नित्यम् अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवाः श्रद्धावन्तो न सूयन्तः मुच्यन्ते तेऽपि कर्मभिः ये त्वेतदभ्यसूयन्तः नानुतिष्ठन्ति मे मतं सर्वज्ञानविमूढांस्तान् विनष्टाचेतसः चेष्टते स्वस्याः प्रकृतिर्ज्ञानवानपि प्रकृतिं याति भूतानि निग्रहः किं करिष्यति इन्द्रियस्येन्द्रियस्यार्थे रागद्वेषौ व्यवदौ तयोर्नवशमागच्छेत् तौ ह्यस्य परिपन्थिनौ श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मः स्वनुष्ठितात् स्वधर्मनिधनं श्रेयः परधर्मो भयावहः अर्जुन उवाच अथ केन प्रयुक्तोऽयं पापं चरति पुरुषः अनेनापि वा श्रेय बलादवनियोजितः श्रीभगवानुवाच काम एष क्रोध एषः रजोगुणसमुद्भवः महाशनो महापाप्मा वेदेनं वैरिणं धूमेनाव्रियते वह्नर्षो नावृतो गर्भः तथा तेनेदमावृतम् आवृतं ज्ञानमेतेन ज्ञानिनो नित्यवैरिणा कामरूपेण कौन्तेय दुष्पूरेणानलेन च इन्द्रियाणि मनोबुद्धिः अस्याधिष्ठानमुच्यते एतैर्विमोहयत्येषः ज्ञानमावृत्य देहिनं तस्मात् त्वमिन्द्रियाणि आदौ यमतर्षः पाप्मानं प्रजहीयेनं इन्द्रियाणि परान् याहुः इन्द्रियेभ्यः परं मनः मनसस्तु परा बुद्धिः यो बुद्धे परतस्तु सः एवं बुद्धे परं भूत्वा संसभ्यात्मानमात्मना जहि शत्रुं महाबाहो कामरूपं दुरासरम् ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्ण अर्जुन संवादे कर्मयोगो नाम तृतीयोऽध्यायः।
Thank you very much for that lovely rendition of Chapter 3 and Gita Dhyanam. Chinmaya Mission, Trinidad, is honored to have Brahmacharini Sia, Upacharya for the second residential Dharma course. I would like to invite Brahmacharini G to give us a brief biography of Puja Swami Nikhilananda Ji.
Hari Om. Puja Swami Nikhilananda Ji is a very senior Swami in Chinmaya Mission. He studied Vedanta from Guruji, Puja Swami Tejamayananda Ji, back in the 80s. And since those days, he's been serving the mission continuously in different centers in India and abroad as well. Swamiji's teachings come from very deep understanding of Advaita Vedanta. He can teach the most profound knowledge, use simple words, and using very practical examples that we all can relate to. And in this way, bringing this most ancient knowledge very close to us. His discourses on bhakti fill our hearts with supreme devotion. Anyone coming in contact with Swamiji will be touched by his love and kindness. Swamiji is a born teacher, always willing to share his knowledge, which always comes with a touch of humor. From Swamiji, we learn the highest love, love for the teachings, love for the Lord, and love for my true self. I now hand over to Swamiji.
Hari Om. Begin with a prayer. सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्। ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय,
ॐ नमः ॐ शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः 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 शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः 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 शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय, शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय,
शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय,
ॐ नमः शिवाय,
हर हर महादेव। श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय। हरि ओम। I am very happy to be here again in Trinidad for Gita Yajna. I think first Yajna was on Ramayana, and now this is on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the third chapter. In Bhaja Govindam, Bhagwan Sri Adi Shankaracharya Ji says that Bhagavad Gita kinchidadhita Ganga jalalava kanika pita Sakrudapi yena murari samarcha kriyate tasya yamena na charcha. Bhaja Govindam, Govindam bhaja mudamate. That one who has studied Bhagavad Gita even a little bit, one who has worshipped Bhagwan even once, one who has taken even a drop of Ganga Jal, such a person becomes free of the fear of death. Yamraji talk about Yamraji removes the name of this person from his hit list. Not that body becomes to us that I, the self, am immortal. I become free from the fear of death, fear of pain and suffering, all disappear from my system. So even a little bit of Bhagavad Gita will be very much helpful. We will study more than little bit. We'll study the 3rd chapter of Gita. It's very popular. It's on Karma Yoga. That way Bhagavad Gita talks about upasana, talks about jnana, also talks about dhyana. In the beautiful Gita Dhyana with the children chanted now, there's this shloka, ki dhyana avastita tadgatena manasa pashyanti yam yoginaha. That yogis see the supreme reality, that supreme God, by taking their mind in dhyana avastha. So when the mind becomes silent, when the mind comprehend, we are able to see, we are able to experience God. But to reach that state of dhyana, we have to prepare ourselves. And one of the best way to prepare ourselves is through Karma Yoga. So Bhagavad Gita begins with a description of the war which is about to begin. Dhritarashtra asked that question to Sanjaya, that what and Pandus do when they assembled in the battlefield. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyusavaha Pandavaschaiva Kimukurvata Sanjaya. What did they do there? They had assembled for war. What else will they do? But he is asking what happened. And this question he asked on the 10th day of the war. On the 10th day, Pitamaha was hit by arrows by Arjuna himself, and he had fallen down on the battlefield, lying on the bed of arrows, still alive. And he was the most powerful warrior. He had what we call Ichha Maran. He could die at will. Nobody could defeat him. But even such a mighty Bhishma Pitamaha down on the battlefield. So Dhritarashtra became very disturbed and very frightened. And he did not know from where Arjuna got this power and this strength to fight with Bhishma Pitamaha also. Was it just the power of his body, muscles? Was it the power of his weapons? Or is it that he had gained something more? So he wanted to know about it. And Sanjaya then describes the whole thing, and then he narrates the dialogue between Bhagwan Krishna and Arjuna. So in the first chapter, when Arjuna came on the battlefield, he saw the entire army, and he requested Bhagwan Krishna to take his chariot in between the two armies. See, all this you might have heard before, but just a reminder. Before we go into the third chapter, little bit of. So Arjuna requested Bhagwan Krishna to please take my chariot in between the two armies. I want to see before this action of fighting this war, I want to be very clear with whom I am fighting, who are on our side, who are on the opposite side. What is all this happening here? I want to just be in between and observe everything. So Bhagwan Krishna took his chariot right in between the two armies, right in front of Bhishma Pitamaha Dronacharya. And when Arjuna saw Bhishma Pitamaha Dronacharya, then he saw his teachers, other teachers, elders, friends, relatives, brothers on both sides of this army. He got real confused and also got little frightened also to see the vast army. Arjuna got little scared. He staying here. Is it proper to fight this war? Because before coming to the battlefield, he had already planned in his head that I have to fight this war. And he was very angry with Duryodhana, Dushasana, etc. And there was a lot of this anger in his heart. So he had come to fight the war. But when he saw Bhishma Pitamaha Dronacharya, his mind got little confused. And he spoke to Bhagwan. He said that I don't know what is right for whether to win or to lose, or is it better to just leave everything and go away? So I don't know, I am thoroughly confused. And he, after giving a big lecture to Bhagwan Krishna in the first chapter, when we speak, Bhagwan just quiet and listens. If we want to listen to Bhagwan, we have to be quiet. So he spoke, and then he dropped his weapons, and he said, I don't want to fight this war. Aho bata mahat papam. We are ready to commit a great sin fighting with our own people. So it is better not to fight. And he just dropped his weapons. Then Bhagwan spoke to him. He says, not the way to behave. You are a Kshatriya. You should not behave in this way. It is your duty to fight this war. It is your duty to take care of dharma, to protect dharma and fight against adharma. But Arjuna was not convinced. He said, how can I fight? Maha, he is so worshipful. I cannot even fight with flowers to talk about. How can I fight with Dronacharya? I learned from him. And if I fight and win and I rule this kingdom, I will feel as though I am eating the blood of all these people, my own people. So I don't want to fight. But he was not very convinced also. And then finally, after exhausting all his Krishna, please you dharma sammodha chetaha shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam, that please take me as your shishya, please teach me. I am thoroughly confused about dharma. I don't know what is right, what is wrong. Please teach me, please guide me. And when he surrenders in this way, Bhagwan Krishna guides Arjuna and teaches him the whole Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the essence of the teachings of the Vedas. Vedas are directly revealed by, it is what you call, Bhagwan himself reveals the Vedas. Vedas are not written by any human being. They are given to us by Ishvara himself. And the same Ishvara is giving us in the form of Krishna, has given us the essence of the Vedas. Now one may wonder that, okay, Arjuna had the problem and he studied, he listened to Bhagavad Gita and he benefited from it. But what about me? What is the use of Bhagavad Gita for me? What will I gain by studying Bhagavad Gita? I am not in the middle of a war. I am not fighting with my relatives. Oh, sometimes I fight, but not often. So, what is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita for me? See, if we analyze the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we come to know the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna was confused regarding his duties, and he was confused regarding his own self also, and that led great grief, great sorrow, pain. And Bhagwan Shri Krishna taught Bhagavad Gita, and by the knowledge of this Gita, Arjuna became free of his sorrow and his confusion. In the end of Bhagwan Arjuna, he says that Nashto moha smritil labdha tvat prasadat mayachyuta, that all my confusion is gone and I have gained the right understanding about myself. So what was the problem of Arjuna? Arjuna's problem was the grief, the sorrow, and that sorrow was caused by confusion. Confusion regarding what? Confusion regarding the real nature of his own self. And this is the problem with all of humanity. Our main problem is problem of suffering, problem of sorrow. The causes we see are different. Some people say that, oh, economic cause is there, some social problems are there, because of which I am having this suffering, I am having this sorrow. And we try to find solution, immediate solution for our sorrows and suffering. But after some time, again the sorrows come, again the suffering comes. Even Gautam Buddha, when he observed this world, he came to the conclusion that sarvam dukkham dukkham, sarvam kshanikam kshanikam. Everything is sorrowful, full of suffering, and everything is temporary in this world. So all of us are knowingly, unknowingly seeking freedom for and also joy. We are seeking happiness. In the scriptural language, it is said we are seeking freedom from all sorrow. Atyantika dukkha nivritti and sukha prapti. All of us are seeking freedom from our sorrow, suffering, and gain of supreme bliss. Even we have come here for gaining some joy, some bliss. Whatever we do, we are doing it to avoid sorrow and to gain some joy. But all our methods, all our techniques are temporary. After some time, again we feel sorrowful. Again there is some pain. Bhagavad Gita and our scriptures give us the solution which is permanent, eternal. We be free of all things and we gain happiness. That is what all of us want. So how can we gain this? What is the solution for all our problem? Bhagavad Gita says, you have to know yourself as you are. Know thyself. We may say, no, I know myself. If somebody asks me, who are you? I give my name. I give my whole address also. But what I know is not me. I know about my body. I know about my outer dress. I gave that example before also in other class. Suppose a person is sitting in a car, driving the car, and if you ask that person, who are you? And he says, I am BMW. Acha? I am red in color. I have 4 tires. I have many gears. Sometimes I stop and I make a lot of noise. So we might find it real funny. That what is he talking about? Is he talking about himself or is he talking about the car? Similarly, when we are asked, who are you? I say, I am a man. I am a woman. So what are we talking about? We are talking about the body. Then when we say, oh, I am an engineer, doctor, I am talking about my education. I am talking about my buddhi. But who am I really? I don't know. So we have to recognize ourselves as we are. That is the main aim and goal of our life. And that is what is taught in Gita. In the beginning itself, Bhagavan tells Arjuna, hey Arjuna, you remember who you really are. You are that Atma who is neither born nor does it jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita na bhuyah ajo nitya shashvatoyam puranaha na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Hey Arjuna, you are that Atma which is neither born nor does it die. Even with the death of the body, you don't die. You are that pure self. Now you are experiencing yourself as though limited in this body, but you are all pervading. You are very subtle. Weapons cannot cut, cannot burn you, water cannot make you wet. You are that supreme self. Arjuna was listening with full attention. Though he understood what Bhagavan is saying, but there was no experience of it. Our experience is that I am born, I will die, I am constantly changing. But Bhagavan is telling, no, you are that changeless supreme self. But in order to experience this self, we have to prepare our mind. We have to make our mind pure, calm, peaceful. Then we will be able to experience our own self as we really are. For that, we have to follow the path of Karma Yoga. We have to follow the path of Upasana. And gain the right type of knowledge. And through dhyana, we will be able to realize ourselves as we are. Once we realize ourselves, we will live in this world as an enlightened person, as a Jivan Mukta. So in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan reveals the entire theme of the whole Bhagavad Gita actually. He tells Arjuna his real nature. Then he talks about Karma Yoga, Bhagavan also tells about Dhyana, and finally Bhagavan describes in detail the Lakshana, the characteristics of an enlightened person. Arjuna asks him that how does an enlightened person live in this world? How does he walk? How does he talk? What are his characteristics? Because only when we understand the greatness of an enlightened person, we will be motivated to move towards that. we will be motivated to experience that. See, a person living in a small village and has not seen much. He participates in some sports in his own village and runs very fast. So he might think that that is the fastest one can run. But when one is exposed to Olympics and all, then one comes to know that, there are people who can run faster than that. Similarly, when we are exposed to the characteristics of an enlightened person, we understand that we can achieve a lot in this world. Living in this world, we can become free of all our suffering, all our pain, all our sorrows. So beautiful description of a Sthita Prajna, enlightened person, is given in the second chapter, last few verses. And Bhagavan also praised knowledge. He said, through knowledge we can raise ourselves and become free of all our suffering. Because all our suffering is caused by not myself as we. Our bondage, our suffering is because of not realizing what we really are. There was this one businessman was there in the good old days, and he had 3 donkeys, and he used to carry all his whatever he has to sell on the back of those donkeys and go from one village to another village. So once he sold all his goods and he reached one village, he had to stay there for the night. So he thought that first let me tie these donkeys, because though they were partners in his business, but they were interested in it. So he thought, let me tie them. So he used to carry on the donkey itself, he used to carry a little rope and a stump which can be put in the ground, and with the rope he could tie the donkey. So he removed the stump and the rope from one donkey, put that stump, hammered it into the ground and tied the rope and to the neck of that donkey. Donkey was observing. He had very intelligent donkeys. Generally we don't find such donkeys. So donkey was observing. Then he removed the stump and the rope from another donkey and put it in the ground, tied the rope on the stump and around the neck of the donkey, made the donkey sit, and the donkey sat. Then he approached the third donkey. But then, wonder of wonders, this rope and the stump was missing. He said, Hore Bapre, the donkey must have dropped it somewhere. Now what to do? And if you don't tie the donkey, donkey will run away. He had enough of this business. So he was wondering what to do. Then he saw one Mahatma going for his evening meditation. So he went there prostrated, asked him. He said, I have one question. Mahatma thought maybe Vedantic question is. So what is your question? He said, the situation has happened like that. The donkey has lost his stump and the rope. I want to tie the donkey. What should I do? Mahatma had studied Vedanta and everything he knew about bondage and freedom and all. So he told the person that you just make an action of tying the donkey. He said, that will work. Hey, yes, it will work. You just make an action. So he again went to the donkey. He just made an action of removing the stump and the rope from his back. Donkey was observing. I told you, very observant, all three donkeys. Then he just made an action of putting the stump in the ground. Then he just, an invisible rope as though, and tied the rope to the stump and another one to his neck and made the donkey sit down. And donkey sat. And then he stayed in the dharamshala or inn. And next day morning when he came out, he saw all three donkeys were there. So he untied the first donkey, kept the rope and the stump, untied the second one also. And the third one was not tied. So he told the donkey, get up, but he was not willing to get up. He pulled his ears, he pulled his tail, but the donkey was not willing. So he was wondering what happened. Again he saw some Mahatma going for his morning meditation. So he approached, prostrated, said, Mahatma Ji, please guide me how to release one from bondage. Who? You are bound? No, the donkey. He says, the donkey is not getting up. He said, you have yesterday donkey and make. Did you do that? He said, yes. Then untie him. But he is not tied. No rope. There is no stump. Why can't he get up? He says, that is what I also know. But that is not what donkey knows. Donkey thinks he is tied. So you have to untie the donkey. You have to convince the donkey that he is untied. Then only he will get up, not otherwise. So again he went there. Donkey was observing. Donkey was wondering, why didn't he do this before? Unnecessary wasting my time, pulling my ears. So he made an action of untying, removed the stump and all those things and kept it on his back. Told him to get up, he got up. That is precisely what has happened with us. We think we are tied, we think we are bound because we don't know who we really are. What is my real nature is not experienced, is not known. We can experience ourselves in the state of meditation when the mind is calm, peaceful and silent, but the mind doesn't remain silent. And unless we experience ourselves as pure, the self, full of happiness, full of bliss, we will not feel that great freedom from sorrow and we will not experience that supreme bliss. So, therefore, the aim and goal of all our scriptures is to teach us about our own self. So Bhagavan taught Arjuna in the second chapter the importance of knowledge, the importance of recognizing ourselves. But he had also mentioned to Arjuna that you have to perform this duty of fighting this war. So there was a contradictory understanding or contradictory statement which Arjuna felt Bhagavan has revealed to him. On one side, Bhagavan is praising the knowledge, and on the other side, he is also telling Arjuna to fight this war. It is like someone's praising, saying, oh, this is so great and all, but you take this. It's like suppose we go to market and all, the person says, oh, this is the most beautiful thing you can get. And this is useless thing, but you take this useless. Similarly, Arjuna, karma is not good. Karma one should drop finally and gain knowledge. But hey Arjuna, you perform this karma, you fight this war. So Arjuna was confused. So this chapter begins with Arjuna's question. And Bhagavan then gives him the reply So this whole chapter tells us the importance of karma. Though jnana is our ultimate goal, karma is a very important step. It will take us towards jnanam. Without karma, we cannot gain that knowledge. Without karma, we cannot prepare our mind to attain that knowledge. Karma is very important. Just like in Olympics, there is what they call that pole vaulting, with a long pole they run and put that and jump along with that pole. And after reaching a particular, they have to drop the pole and jump across. So without that pole, you cannot reach that height. But after reaching that height, you have to drop it. Suppose somebody is told that you have to drop the pole and he drops it in the beginning itself, one will not gain that height. Therefore, Karma Yoga is like that pole which takes us to a certain height and then we drop it and gain that knowledge, and through meditation we experience our own self. So this chapter teaches us the importance of Karma Yoga. It is different from just performing lot of karma. Many people think that Karma Yoga means doing lot of work, day and night, working like those 3 donkeys is called Karma Yoga. Just doing lot is not Karma Yoga. Doing some special work is not Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is a very technical thing which we have to understand properly. If we learn the art of Karma Yoga, that itself will give us lot of peace and happiness and prepare us for self-knowledge. So it's the most beautiful chapter. So let us begin. We'll chant the shlokas and understand the meaning directly. So I will chant. You please repeat after me. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Atha Tritiyodhyaya.
Atha Tritiyodhyayah.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Jayasi Chet Karmanaste.
Jayasi Chet Karmanaste.
Mata Buddhir Janardana.
Mata Buddhir Janardana.
Tat Kim Karmani Ghore Mam.
Tat Kim Karmani Ghore Mam.
Niyojayasi Keshava.
Niyojayasi Keshava.
Vyamishreneva Vakyena.
Vyamishreneva Vakyena.
Buddhim Mohayasiva Me.
Buddhim Mohayasiva Me.
Tadekam Vadanishchitya.
Tadekam Vadanishchitya.
Yena Shreyohamapnuyam.
Yena Shreyohamapnuyam.
Arjuna Uvacha. Arjuna is asking this question. The whole Bhagavad Gita is a dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna. Arjuna is very straightforward, very pure-hearted person, had great devotion for Bhagwan Krishna, considered Bhagwan Krishna his own friend, and had great faith also in Bhagwan Krishna. So he is asking this question sincerely because he got little confused after listening to the second chapter. In second chapter, Bhagwan praised knowledge, self-knowledge, and he said self-knowledge is better. It will ultimately give us moksha. And he also talked about renouncing all action and getting abidance in that self. But at the same time, he also encouraged Arjuna to perform this action. So Arjuna was confused. He said, Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana. Hey Janardana, if according to your opinion, buddhi, that is knowledge, is superior to karma, because ultimately we have to gain knowledge, karma we have to drop. If knowledge is superior to karma, then why are you propelling me into this ghor karma? Not even good karma of this fighting this war. Tatkim karmani ghore mam niyojyasi Keshava. Hey Keshava, why are you motivating, putting me into this ghor karma? Why not just drop this karma and just sit quietly? Because by your opinion, it's karma is not supreme. Karma alone will not give us moksha. Because moksha, bondage is because of ignorance. Action cannot give us knowledge. Just like suppose a room is dark, just by sweeping the room, the darkness will not go away. Darkness can go away only by bringing what? Similarly, karma is not opposed to ignorance. Karma will not remove ignorance. Only knowledge will remove ignorance. But this knowledge we gain in our buddhi, and unless the buddhi is prepared, we will not learn anything. See, if a person wants to become a doctor, a child wants to become a doctor, directly you cannot put the child in medical college. First he has to go through the nursery and pre-KG and KG and primary and secondary and all those things. All children, you know about it. Similarly, though knowledge is supreme, we go through this karma. But Arjuna did not know about it. So he says, Tatkim karmani ghore mam niyojyasi Keshava. Why are you propelling me into this ghor karma? And your statements are so mixed up, as though mixed up. Not that you are trying to confuse me, but vyamishreneva vakyena, your vakyas are vyamishra, contradictory. At one point you say that knowledge is supreme, karma is not good, karma will not lead to freedom, but you do karma. It was very sort of depressing for Arjuna also. He thought Bhagavan Krishna will encourage him to gain knowledge because that is supreme. But here he is praising knowledge but telling Arjuna to fight this war. So vyamishreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me. You are confusing my buddhi. Arjuna was a soldier, a warrior. And for warriors, actually, you can't give two separate instructions. You have to give one command only. Two commands, opposing commands, and there will be total confusion. Left, right, when we say, it should be clear, like, is it left or is it right? So Arjuna says that, buddhim mohayasiva me, as though you are confusing me. I am not saying you are confusing me, as though it feels as though you are confusing me. So tad ekam vada nishchitya, therefore you tell me one thing. Yena shreyoham apnuyam, by which I will attain welfare, which is good for me. Even in this situation, Arjuna is saying that you tell me one which is for my welfare. See, this is a very important point. We have to remember that our scriptures give us advice for our welfare. For different person, different advice is given, depending on their level, depending on their stage in their spiritual evolution. For example, here Arjuna didn't want to fight this war. He wanted to go take sannyas and just sit somewhere in the Himalayas meditating. But Bhagavan says, no, you fight this war. You have to fight. In Ramayana, there is an incident when Ramchandra ji meets Parshuram ji. Parshuram ji hears about the bow being broken. So he comes there inquiring who broke Shiva's bow. And then he comes to know about Ramchandra ji, so he wants to fight with Bhagwan. And Parshuram ji had taken that vow of destroying, killing all the Kshatriyas. Parshuram was a Brahmana, but he had taken this as though the role of a Kshatriya, kill all the Kshatriyas. So when he came face to face with Ramchandra ji, he wanted to. But Bhagavan again and again pointed out to him that you are a Brahmana, you are born for another purpose. You should all this and all and go and meditate, do tapas. Parshuram wanted to fight, but Bhagavan encouraged him to give up this fighting and do tapas. Arjuna wanted to do tapas, but Bhagavan says, no, you fight this war. So each one is given advice according to their capacity, their level. So here for Arjuna, Karma Yoga was best for him. But Bhagavan also talked about Jnana. So he said, Tad ekam vada nishchitya. Therefore, Bhagavan, please tell me one thing clearly. Should I follow the path of karma or should I gain knowledge? Ekam vada nishchitya yena shreyo ham apnuyam. By which I can attain shreya, by which I can attain the supreme welfare. So, having heard this question, understood that Arjuna is not clear, though he had explained everything clearly in the second chapter, but Bhagavan felt that Arjuna is not clear about Karma Yoga. So he explains everything in detail now. So let us chant third verse. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Lokesmin Dvividha Nishtha
Lokesmin Dvividha Nishtha
Pura Prokta Maya Nagha
Pura Prokta Maya Nagha
Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam
Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam
Karma Yogena Yoginam
Karma Yogena Yoginam
Together. Lokesmin Dvividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Maya Nagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Bhagavan explains to Arjuna, he says that I had in the beginning, in the Vedas, in the beginning, I have given this twofold path. There is this twofold path which will take us to our supreme destination. It is not one path, but it is twofold. Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. First we have to follow the path of Karma Yoga, it will lead us to Jnana Yoga automatically. It will make us fit for Jnana Marga. See, just like in our in the malls and other places at the airport and all, we have what we call that escalators. In that, what is required is you have to get well established in the first step itself. Especially us when we are wearing lungis and all, we have to be very careful. Anything can happen. So we have to step on the first properly and just stay there. That first step itself, in a very magical way, becomes the second step. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to move. That itself becomes the third step. It becomes the fourth and takes us on the top. But if you try to, from the ground itself, try to jump on the fifth step, that will be disastrous. Similarly, we have to get well established in Karma Yoga. That Karma Yoga itself will take us into Upasana, Bhakti, Jnana, Dhyana. It will take us ultimate goal. Many people actually, out of confusion, out of not misunderstanding, they just want to drop all karma and directly want to go and meditate, or just want to gain knowledge, give up their job, give up their homes, they want to just become sannyasis. But if we are not ready, if we are not prepared, then that will not help us. It will not be beneficial. Even Bhagavan Krishna's own friend Arjuna, Bhagavan did not encourage him for sannyas or for renouncing everything. He said, first you get well established in Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is not just performing lot of karma, but it is attitude with which we perform. What type of karma and how we should perform is very important. That's what Karma Yoga is. So Bhagavan says this is the twofold path which I have revealed in the Vedas. What is very, it is called Pravritti Marga and Nivritti Marga. These are the two aspects of dharma. Pravritti Dharma and Nivritti Dharma. This Pravritti Dharma leads to our welfare in this world, leads to prosperity, Abhyuday, and Nivritti Marga, this Jnana Marga, leads to final moksha. But we have to take this one step at a time. First we have to go on this Karma Yoga path. So Bhagavan says that this twofold path I have revealed, Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam, Karma Yogena Yoginam. For yogis, for those who are attached to karma, those who are ignorant, those who have lots of desires in their heart, for them I have revealed this Karma Yoga, path of Karma Yoga, that will prepare them. But those whose mind is already prepared, those who have gained the proper understanding of the self, those who have gained vairagya, those who have proper discrimination and understand what is the self and what is not the self, for such contemplative seekers, I have revealed a path of jnana. So gain that knowledge and gain abidance in that knowledge after renouncing all actions, and through meditation you can gain abidance in that knowledge. So path of karma and path of jnana, these are two separate paths. Both cannot be practiced by one person. You have to follow one at a time. Once we are through Karma Yoga, when we are ready, then we can drop that karma and gain that abidance in knowledge. See, just like if we want to sleep, I should not talk much about sleep during pravachan, but it's a good example actually. If you want to sleep, but at the same time you also want to do you want to drive. I want to drive and I want to sleep. Both these karmas cannot be done together, should not be done together. Either you drive or you go to sleep. You cannot do this together. Similarly, karma and jnana cannot be practiced together in that sense. After preparing our mind with Karma Yoga, then we have to drop the sense of doership, drop all attachment to karma, meditate and realize the self. So these two are paths for different categories of people. So Bhagavan clearly tells that those who are contemplative, have got knowledge or quietude of the mind, for them Jnana Yoga, and for those who are filled with lots of desires and still attached to the karma, for them this Karma Yoga. So clear demarcation is there. But finally, if we have to give up karma, then why not just drop it in the beginning itself? Can't we just drop karma and reach that state of enlightenment? Because finally, if we have to give up karma in the state of meditation, why not give up now itself? Can't we reach enlightenment just by not performing action? That question might come in our mind. Bhagavan replies to that. He says in the next verse, Na karmanam anarambhat Naishkarmyam purushosnute Nacha sanyasanadeva Siddhim dhigacchati न कर्मणामनारम्भात् नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोष्णुते
न च सन्न्यस्य नादेव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति.
Bhagavan says, na karmanam anarambhat. By not performing karma, one cannot gain the state of naishkarmya. Naishkarmya is another word for the state of enlightenment. When we become free of all karma. When we become free of all karma means we become free of the sense of doership. See, an enlightened person also performs action. We see the body of that enlightened person performing action. But that enlightened person knows that I am not the doer. In the 5th chapter also Bhagavan says about this enlightened person that even when the body is functioning, the mind is functioning, the senses are functioning, the enlightened person knows that I am not doing anything. Neva kinchit karomiti pashyan shrunvan spruchan jigran ashnan gachan shwapan shwashan pralapan vishrujan grundan unmishan nimishan napi neva kinchit karomiti yukto manneta tattvavita, that I am not doing anything. That is his firm conviction and firm abidance in this conviction that I am not doing. So for an enlightened person there is no action happening. But just by dropping action or not performing action, an ignorant person will not reach a state of enlightenment. Somebody saw Gautam Buddha sitting quietly under a tree. Lot of people were worshipping him. So he thought, oh, such a nice thing. If you just sit quietly, we can also become Buddha. So he also went and sat under the same tree later on. But just by sitting quietly, you cannot reach the state, you cannot reach the state of enlightenment. We have to go through the proper process. Then only we can reach. So not performing action, we cannot reach enlightenment, nor by just dropping all action, by taking sannyas. Nacha sannyasana siddhim samadhigacchati, we cannot reach the state of enlightenment. This is very important actually, because misunderstanding about the spirituality lead people into all sorts of confusion. Many people, they just drop all their work and everything and just become sannyasis, but they are not fit, so they waste their whole life only. If Arjuna had gone to the forest, taken sannyas, his gun was still there. With his sword, he would have cut all the trees. Because by just dropping action, we will not become free from the attachment to this action. The mind has to be quietened by performing action properly. Then we will become fit for knowledge. And also Bhagavan says, you cannot prevent yourself from performing action. He says in the next verse, Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishthatya karma krita karyate hyavashak karma sarva prakriti jair gunaihi nahi kaschit kshanamapi Jatu tishthatya karma krita
Karyate yavasha karma Sarva prakriti jayagunaihi.
Bhagavan says an ignorant person, even for a second, cannot remain without performing karma. See, we might prevent our body from functioning, we can just sit at one place, but who will stop the mind from running? Who will stop the thoughts from coming into our head? It will keep on functioning. Our mind will continue to remain restless. Bhagavan says, even for a kshana, even for a second, we can't remain without performing karma. We means an ignorant person. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarma kruta. Then who will force us to perform karma? He says our prakriti. Karyate hi avashak karma sarva prakriti jair gunai. Prakriti, which is made up of the three gunas, that from this prakriti itself is made our body. Our body made up of prakriti, nature of Bhagwan. Sattva gun, Rajo gun, Tamo gun. Our prakriti goes to make our mind, our intellect. All our desires, all our thoughts are also trigunatmika, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. And these thoughts and desires will keep coming. We will not be able to stop them from coming, and they will force us to perform actions. It is the power and the force of this Prakriti which will not allow us to sit quietly. It will force a person to perform action. So just by saying that I will not do anything, it will not work. Just by not performing action, we will not reach the state of enlightenment. Prakriti will force us to do. And we see people, so much of Rajogun is there, and they are forced to do it. There was one village, and one person came to that village, a sadhu, and he started staying in the temple. And he used to just sit there in the temple, do some puja and all. Otherwise, whole day he used to just sit quietly doing nothing. And the villagers used to come and give him food, do namaskar, offer some flowers, sit with him for some time and go. So there was one young boy there in the village. He saw all this and he said, this is all nonsense. That why are you feeding this sadhu? He is doing nothing, totally useless. The villagers said, if you also can sit there quietly doing nothing, we will feed you. He said, very good. So he also went and sat there. For some time he was sitting. Then he became restless. Then he saw that some cleaning is required in the temple, so started cleaning everything. Then again he sat. Then he saw one tree and some fruit was there. So suddenly went and climbed the tree and removed the fruits and started eating. So even for a few minutes he couldn't sit quietly, because his nature, his vasanas, his desires were forcing him to act. And that is what happens to us. We are propelled and forced by our own karmas. We can't sit still. Our desires will make us run from one place to another. And that is what is happening to us. We are moving from one lifetime to another lifetime, performing so many different types of karma, getting more and more attached to this karma and to this samsara. So Bhagavan says, by force you will not be able to give up your karma. So karyate hi avashak karma sarva prakriti jair gunaihi. And further Bhagavan says that if one forcefully tries not to perform karma, but indulges in all sorts of contemplation and visualization and daydreaming and all, then that is not a proper thing to do. He says in the next verse, one more verse we'll see. Karmendriyani sanyamya ya aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudhatma mithyacharasya uchyate karmendriyani sanyamya yaste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudhatma mithyacharasya uchyate. Bhagavan says, those who restrain the karmendriyas, karmendriyani sanyamya, somehow with effort, with willpower, forcefully one prevents the body from acting and sits at one place as though meditating. Aste manasa. But the mind is not controlled. The mind runs into various types of sense pleasures. See, we can put a person in jail, but we can't put the person's mind in jail. And some of them, they operate from the jail also. So, sitting quietly, controlling his senses, his karmendriyas, but manasa smaran, but with the mind he remembers everything. Indriyarthan, what does he remember? All the sense pleasures. Nahin? And it happens with every one of us at some time or other. We go for some spiritual camp and we sit there for meditation. A group meditation we have. So we have to close our eyes and sit. And at that time, deep, strong desire comes to open our eyes and see what the other fellow is doing. Because he is my neighbor and he always tells that I regularly meditate for hours together. So I open my eyes to look at him. At that same time, he is also opening his eyes and looking at me. So it becomes very difficult to keep the eyes also closed for some time. Mind is so restless. So if a person with his body controlled, but the mind running haywire, thinking of all pleasures, thinking of all the gulab jamuns and rasagullas and all the sweets and other pleasures, Bhagavan says such a person with this type of activities is a hypocrite only. Mithyacharasya uchyate. Such activities, such sadhana will not lead to the state of enlightenment. And unfortunately, many people, they go on this path. In the excitement of spirituality, drop their job, drop their duties towards their own family, their own parents, towards society. They are not prepared for knowledge, so they don't even learn Vedanta. They don't have the capacity to sit and listen to pravachan also, but then they take sannyas and they waste their whole life in that way. So Bhagavan is warning these people, this is not proper, it is hypocrisy, it is mithyachar. It is better good karma yogi than a useless jnana yogi. It is better to work properly, dedicate all your life and energy for the service of this world, for the service of Ishvara as this world, than to just sit, meditate and keep on thinking about all pleasures. That is no good. One is telling Arjuna that don't think that just this battlefield and going to the Himalayas will help you. It will take you towards enlightenment. No. You have to put forth effort. You have to fulfill your duties properly. Do it with proper attitude. Then that will lead to moksha. So, after telling us what is that dropping karma will not help us, we will now tell what type of karma we should perform and how it should be performed. That we will see in our class tomorrow. So tomorrow 7 to 9. So now we will have the arti and other things. Okay.
Hari Om. Unstimulated and discourse indeed. I can't wait for tomorrow night. Thank you, Swami G, for your very enlightening and inspiring discourse. Before we continue, we have a couple announcements of some upcoming events. Weekly class satsangs have been ongoing with different acharyas at different locations. So for the weekly schedule, you could contact the office or visit the website. Now, the next big event that is upcoming is Swami G's food fair. You all would have heard about that. It's on August 31st, sorry. And the holiday, just remember that. From 12 noon to 6 p.m. right here at the Chinmaya Ashram. Funds raised ashram. Yuva Vibes the concert. Recently, some of the chicks, the talented musical chicks, produced a CD in commemoration of the 100th birth year of Puja Gurudev. And to raise funds for the construction of the Devi Vidyalaya preschool, we will now have a Yuva Vibes concert on 24th of September. That is Republic Day. Tickets are presently on sale, so if you are interested, please check the bookstore at the back. Jnana. How does that sound? So Swami G, Swami Prakashananda Ji is taking a trip to Guyana to carry out satsangs, and it is open for the public if you all want to join. This will happen from the 3rd to the 8th of October this year, 2016, and it's the 28th, which is this weekend, so you have to click on it before it fills up quickly. Chinmaya Mission Trinidad and Tobago will be having its 3rd residential Vedanta course conducted by Swami Prakashananda Ji, and this starts on the 1st of November 2016. And is 8 to 30 years of age, under the age of 13, with a university degree. For more information on this, you could contact the office or the bookstore. During the course, and Swami will also be in Trinidad most of the time. He will be conducting Ramayana satsang every night, as well as every Saturday there will be some courses going on. There will also be the Purohit course. This is for those of you who want to learn how to do pujas and how to become a pandit, learn the knowledge behind that. That will also be ongoing from every Saturday in November. For these courses, chanting, Sanskrit, Hindi, and Puja Vidhi, yeah. Right, the registration is $100 per subject per year for that also. In November this year, November 18th to 27th, Acharya Vivek Ji of Toronto will be visiting Trinidad and Tobago yet again for another time. He will went for Chinmaya Inspirational Yatra Part 7. So all of the chicks are invited if you would like to join. There will be international chicks coming here as well. And if you all know Acharya Vivek Ji, he has a very dynamic way with the youths. So feel free to not miss out on this opportunity. Jamming in Jamaica. So this is another chick event that Swami Nikhilananda has planned. So we'll be going to Jamaica from the 25th of June to the 1st of July. And we'll have satsang there, we'll have tours, you know. So it will be a good thing. Registration for that is ongoing also. So generally, any information, please contact the Chinmaya, contact check.tt@gmail.com or mission@gmail.com, or you can go on the website www.cmtt.info. Usually all of the events are posted on the Facebook page as well. Okay, so we'll now have Arti.
भगवद गीते मैया जय भगवद गीते
मैया कामा सखिहरा
ज्ञान विकासिनी
ज्ञान विकासिनी विद्या ब्रह्म परा ओम जय भगवती
निश्चल भक्ति विदायिनी निर्मल मलहारी
मैया निर्मल मलहारी
शरण रहस्य प्रदायिनी
शरण रहस्य प्रदायिनी सब विधि सुखकारी ओम जय भगवती
राग द्वेष विदारिणी हारिणी मोद सदा
मैया कारिणी मोद सदा
भव भय हारिणी तारिणी
भव भय हारिणी तारिणी परमानंद प्रदा ओम जय भगवती
आसुर भाव विनाशिनी नाशिनी तमर्जिनी
मैया नाशिनी तमर्जिनी
देवी सद्गुणदायिनी
देवी सद्गुणदायिनी हरि रसिका सजनी ओम जय भगवती
समता त्याग सिखावनी हरिमुख की वाणी
मैया हरि मुख की वाणी
सकल शास्त्र की स्वामिनी
सकल शास्त्र की स्वामिनी श्रुतियों की रानी ओम जय भगवती
दया सुधा बरसावनी मातु कृपा की जय
मैया मातु कृपा की जय
हरि पद प्रेम दान कर
हरि पद प्रेम दान कर अपनो कर लीजय ओम जय भगवती जय भगवद गीते जय भगवती हरि कमल विहारिणी हरि कमल विहारिणी सुंदर सुपुनीते ओम जय भगवद गीते ओम जय भगवद गीते ओम जय भगवद गीते
पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ हरि ओम्
Pledge.
We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. We serve as an army, courageous and disciplined, ever to fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without us. We live honestly the noble life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what we consume and giving more than what we take. We seek the Lord's grace to keep us on the path of virtue, courage, and wisdom. May thy grace and blessings flow through us to the world around us. We believe that the service of our country is the service of the Lord of Lords, and devotion to the people is a devotion to the Supreme Self. We know our responsibilities. Give us the ability and courage to fulfill them. Om Tat